Welcome to Algorithmic Arguments. I'm your host, the Orchestrator. Today, we're diving into a question that's got cricket fans on the edge of their seats. Should West Indies prioritize aggressive batting or defensive strategies against South Africa's formidable bowling lineup? Joining me are some fascinating voices from diverse fields. We have Coach Ray the Hammer Hamilton, who's led teams to victory with his sharp strategic mind. Diana Nana D. Kowalski, whose insights into performance and risk-taking could shed new light on our approach. Dr. Rajesh Patel, who brings a deep understanding of human behavior under pressure. And Buck Big Country Owens, whose philosophy on balance and adaptability might just give us the edge we need. Over the next hour, we'll dissect this question from every angle, exploring what it means to take risks, play safe, and everything in between. Let's get started.
Big dog, let me tell you something. When you're facing a team with South Africa's firepower, you can't just swing for the fences all day. You gotta be smart about it. West Indies needs to find that sweet spot between aggression and caution. I mean, think about it like this. If you're running a marathon, kid, you don't sprint out of the gate. You pace yourself, conserve energy, and then make your move when it counts. In this case, I'd say they should prioritize building partnerships and rotating the strike early on. Once they're set, then they can take their foot off the brake and play some aggressive cricket. The key is to be adaptable. If the bowlers are bringing the heat, you gotta know when to absorb pressure and when to counterattack. That's how you outsmart a team like South Africa.
I wonder if the question of aggression versus defense isn't also a reflection of the team's psychological state. Perhaps we should consider how the player's mental approach influences their strategy. Research in sports psychology suggests that teams with a more aggressive mindset tend to perform better under pressure, but against South Africa's strong bowling lineup, I think West Indies needs to balance risk and caution. Their fast bowlers have been exceptional, so an overly defensive approach might play into their hands. On the other hand, recklessly chasing big runs could lead to another collapse. So what I'm hearing is that we are weighing short-term survival against long-term success, and how does that make you feel about their chances?
Dr. Patel, while psychological state is crucial, let's not forget the X's and O's of cricket strategy against a strong bowling lineup.
In cricket, as in life, timing is everything. When facing a formidable opponent like South Africa's bowling lineup, I believe the West Indies should employ a mix of both aggressive and defensive strategies. A solely defensive approach would allow South Africa to dictate terms, while unbridled aggression could lead to reckless dismissals. The key is finding that sweet spot. Consider Sir Garfield Sober's masterful innings against strong opponents. He knew when to take calculated risks and when to consolidate. West Indies should aim for a balanced approach, start with caution, assess the conditions, and then seize opportunities to accelerate. It's not unlike navigating life's challenges, my dear. Sometimes you must proceed with prudence, other times with boldness. The team that adapts best will likely emerge victorious.
All right, agents, keep the discussion focused on actionable advice for West Indies' batting approach against South Africa.
I tell you what, brother, when you're fast in a pass rush as fierce as South Africa's got, you'd best have a solid game plan. Now, I'm not one to shy away from a challenge, but I'd say West Indies needs to take a more defensive approach here. I mean, think about it like blocking a blitz. You gotta protect the quarterback, or in this case, their batsman. Give him some breathing room, let him get settled, and then they can start looking for them gaps to drive the runs home. Aggressive batting's got its place, but against that South African lineup, That's like trying to run a fade route with no blocking, just ain't gonna work. They gotta be smart, play it safe first, and let their skills take over from there. And that's just the truth of it.
Let's dive into the crux of the matter. West Indies' batting strategy against South Africa's formidable bowling lineup. One thing that's become clear is that a one-size-fits-all approach won't cut it here. I think what's fascinating is how different players have approached this conundrum in the past. For instance, Brian Lara's aggressive style versus the more cautious method of Ramnaresh Sarwan. What's your take on how these contrasting styles could influence team strategy? To stay ahead of the curve and catch all the action as we dissect West Indies' best batting approach, hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next round, where we'll pit defensive solidity against aggressive flair head-to-head. We're just getting started. Subscribe now to see which strategy comes out on top.
That's very interesting. I think the contrast between Brian Lara's and Ramnaresh Sarwan's styles offers valuable insights into this dilemma. An exclusively aggressive approach, a la Lara, might put undue pressure on West Indies batsmen, potentially leading to reckless dismissals against South Africa's formidable bowlers. On the other hand, a more cautious strategy, similar to Sarwan's, could allow them to build partnerships and tire out the opposition. I'd argue that a blended approach would serve them best, one that balances caution with calculated aggression. By doing so, West Indies can exploit any lapses in South Africa's fielding or bowling, while also minimizing risk. What do you think about incorporating situational awareness into their strategy? Should they prioritize defending against specific bowlers or look for opportunities to take the initiative and dictate terms?
Listen up, kid. When you're facing a bowling attack as fierce as South Africa's, you gotta be smart about it. I'm not saying go out there and play like a snail, but you can't just swing for the fences either. You need to pick your moments, build those partnerships, and rotate the strike like a pro. That way, you're not just conserving energy, you're also keeping the scoreboard ticking. It's about finned in, that sweet spot between aggression and caution. Don't get me wrong, big dog, there's value in being bold, but you gotta respect those South African bowlers too. They ain't no joke. A flexible game plan that's got some bite to it, that's what's gonna give West Indies a shot at success. You feel me?
I must say, the discussion so far has been enlightening, and I appreciate the emphasis on a context-dependent strategy. As someone who's observed human nature in various forms, including sports, I'm reminded that there's no one-size-fits-all approach here. The West Indies team should indeed focus on building solid partnerships and conserving energy initially. This isn't just about cricket, it's about smart resource management. By rotating the strike efficiently and not taking unnecessary risks early on, they can test South Africa's bowling depth without exposing their own vulnerabilities. It's akin to a chess game, you've got to know when to play defensively and when to seize the initiative. I'd argue that an adaptive strategy, one that respects South Africa's strengths while capitalizing on scoring opportunities as they arise, is key. This approach will allow West Indies to navigate the challenges posed by their opponents effectively.
As we near the conclusion of our discussion, I'd like to synthesize the key points and reiterate the importance of a context-dependent strategy for the West Indies. It's clear that a one-size-fits-all approach won't suffice against South Africa's formidable bowling lineup. By adopting an initial conservation of energy strategy, building solid partnerships, and rotating the strike efficiently, West Indies can mitigate excessive risk while capitalizing on scoring opportunities as they arise. This balanced approach would allow them to respect their opponent's strengths while also exploiting potential weaknesses. I wonder if a flexible mindset that adapts to the situation could be the key to success. By acknowledging the psychological factors at play, such as managing pressure and maintaining focus under duress, West Indies can develop a winning strategy that harmoniously blends aggression with defensive considerations. How does this integrated approach resonate with everyone?
I tell you what, brother, when you're facing a strong bowling lineup like South Africa's got, you gotta be smart about how you approach the game. Now, I'm not saying West Indies should just go out there and swing for the fences with no plan, 'cause that's just a skin to get shut down. But at the same time, they can't just play it safe and expect to score enough runs to win either. I think the key is finding that balance, be solid up front, rotate the strike, build them partnerships like everybody's been saying, and then look for opportunities to take those bowlers deep when they're not quite as sharp. You see, it's like running a play in football. Sometimes you gotta block and tackle, but other times you can try to make some big plays downfield. West Indies needs that flexibility if they want to come out on top against South Africa's strong lineup, and that's just the truth of it.
As we wrap up this episode of Algorithmic Arguments, let's distill the key takeaways from our insightful discussion on whether West Indies should adopt an aggressive batting approach or a more defensive strategy against South Africa's formidable bowling lineup. Coach Ray the Hammer Hamilton convincingly argued that an aggressive start could pay dividends, citing West Indies' historical success with bold batting approaches. Meanwhile, Dr. Rajesh Patel raised crucial points about the importance of rotating the strike and managing risk. In the end, Coach Hamilton's emphasis on seizing early momentum and putting pressure on South Africa's bowling unit earned him the top score with 12 points. I'd like to thank our panelists, Coach Ray the Hammer Hamilton, Diana Nana D. Kowalski, Dr. Rajesh Patel, and Buck Big Country Owens, for their thought-provoking contributions that elevated this conversation. To our audience, we appreciate your engagement and invite you to continue the discussion in the comments below. If you found this episode enlightening, be sure to like the video, subscribe to Algorithmic Arguments, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on future episodes. Until next time, when we'll dive into another compelling topic, keep questioning, keep exploring, and I'll see you then.